So, it is almost the 45th anniversary of the Loving versus Virginia case on June 12th of 1967. This case, an interracial couple traveled to Washington, D.C. to get married where interracial marriage was legal. Mildred, black, and Richard, who is white, decided that it was time for them to get the same rights as everybody else. When they returned home, they found themselves arrested and banned from their hometown of Caroline Country for 25 years. They were forced to go back and live in Washington, D.C., where earlier, like I said, it was legal. When they decided that they did want to go home and live in their hometown where they grew up with their family, with their friends, they knew that they had to get themselves an attorney. That's when they met Cohan. Cohan, when speaking on the couple's behalf, clearly said the couple just loved each other and they just wanted all the same rights as everybody else. When the case reached high courts, a judge by the name of J. Brazel said that God made separate races as not an intention to get them mixed together. So they ruled against the couple. When the couple finally reached Supreme Court, it was considered unconstitutional to strip away the rights of this minority just because they wanted to get married. Now, some of this might not sound familiar to you because it was when our parents were our age, but as teenagers, we are faced with a very similar situation, and that is gay marriage. Now, are we going to look back at them and think, how could you have let something so simple and so normal be such a problem? Well, I hate to say it, guys, but that's how our kids are going to look at us. And they're going to say, that is so silly. How could that have carried such great heights and been such a problem for you guys? So today I'm going to argue that voting yes on Proposition 8 is unconstitutional. In order to do this, I'm going to argue that Proposition 8 opposes no compelling state interest. Secondly, I will argue that allowing same-sex marriage to occur will give back the rights to minorities. And third, I will argue that allowing same-sex marriage to occur will not tamper with the traditional values of marriage. First off, when something is made illegal, it is because there is a threat to our society and a threat to our safety, and it's something that's going to take away our rights. Now, the funny thing is this is very similar to when you're driving on a freeway. When you are going at 65 miles an hour, there is a set limit, and that is it. Because anything faster poses a threat to our safety and a threat to our society, which is why this was made illegal. When we think about outlawing same-sex marriage, we are unable to find a real harm for our personal safety. Like the Virginia versus Loving case, in Supreme Courts, they stated that a person's right to get married is a given right in American society. It is what makes us complete. It is what makes us whole. It is something that is virtually given to us. Very similarly, in the Turner versus Safely case, it was two incarcerated prisoners that decided they also wanted to get married. And the court case also reached Supreme Court. And they decided that marriage is based off of a few underlying things. And when they decided what those things were, first was emotional and public support. Secondly, marriage is off the basis of a spiritual faith, and but for some, a religious faith. And third, it is a tangible belief. It is the right for property and the right for government benefits. This leads me to my next point. If we allow same-sex marriage to occur, we are giving the same benefits to the same exact people for the same exact reasons. There's no need to point a finger and say, well, it's against our traditional values, it's obstructing the morality of marriage. If we think about it, there's been court cases where the ideas of marriage have been delegated way before this. And so are we ignoring history? Are we ignoring what's already been established? Are we ignoring what's already been given to us? And are we ignoring the fact that everybody should have the same traditional values as everybody else. Scott Bishop, he is the writer of Gay Marriage, the Oppositions, and the Controversies in 1994, and he states that finding a compelling state interest before denying the rights of minorities is the very thing that gives us as Americans civil rights. And I know that some of you are thinking, well, Loren, if we allow same-sex marriage, what can we expect? What's going to happen and what's going to change? And I'll tell you, Scott Bishop, earlier credited, he said that if we allow same-sex marriage, we can see only positive things for our generations to come. Not only are we putting down cement for greener pastures for our generations, our children are going to grow up to be more open-minded to cultural diversities, where we probably won't have these same problems when they are our age. Secondly, we're going to see a few other positive things, like more children being adopted and finding great homes to live in. We're going to see a growth in the economy because more people are buying homes and living together and starting a family and making big bucket purchases. So when we think of the positive aspects of same-sex marriage, do we think of a threat? When something is positive, do we feel warranted? Do we feel like we need to push away on something that's so positive? My last point that I want to bring to you is, as the American Family Association, you guys think that if we allow same-sex marriage, it is going to obstruct the traditional values of marriage. The funny thing is of course it might. Just as any other situation, it might. It's an equal thing. If you want to get into obstructing the traditional values of marriage, let us actually, for a second, take a side and think of a heterosexual marriage. Shouldn't we be pointing the finger at people who live together before they get married? Or how about those who are obstructing the traditional values when they have kids before they get married? Or what about the numbers of divorces that are happening? Is that not obstructing the traditional values of marriage already? So you think that same-sex marriage is going to do worse damage than what we've already done to the traditional values of marriage? And if you really want to think about it, and you really want to think that the traditional values of marriage are so completely intact and in no need of impediment, let's think of Britney Spears' 55-day just-for-fun marriage and then just strip-cut divorce. That is obstructing the traditional values of marriage. So, in this speech, I have argued that same-sex marriage opposes no compelling state interest. Secondly, I have argued that giving back or voting no on Proposition 8 will give back the rights to minorities. And third, I have argued that the American Family Association thinks that a traditional or allowing same-sex marriage will oppose the traditional values of marriage, and that is false. So, when we are older and we are looking back at history, please don't have our kids look at us and think of how bigoted we were, and think how ignorant we were, and how sad it is that we made something that is so innocent and so normal seem so weird and so different, just like we view interracial marriages. Thank you.